Welcome, students. So glad you could join me today. We're jumping right into a formal, expository deep dive of Numbers chapter 8. In this explainer, we're embarking on a thorough study we've titled Lamps, Levites, Liftoff. We're going to look at this profound text with both academic rigor and pastoral care. You know, Numbers 8 is just a remarkable chapter. It turns the nation of Israel's face toward the light and then purposefully sets apart the servants who will tend that light. Have you ever wondered how God's ancient instructions for a desert tent hold the key to understanding your own purpose today? Well, that's exactly what we'll uncover as we prepare our hearts and minds to unpack how the Lord orders light for his house and provides servants for his presence, beautifully marrying design with holy duty. Here is the course syllabus for today's study. We will progress through 5 clear stages. 1. Historical and cultural background. 2. Biblical narrative. 3. Theological significance. 4. Spiritual lessons and application. And 5. Conclusion. Okay, let's dive right in by first establishing our theological coordinates. To do this, we're going to strictly employ a literal, grammatical, historical framework throughout our time together today. The text before us operates firmly within the dispensation of the law, specifically under the Mosaic covenant. Remember, this is God's direct earthly program for national Israel. It's absolutely vital that we anchor ourselves here early on, ensuring we don't blur God's specific historical program for Israel with his current, distinct program for the church age. Keeping that boundary clear, that's really the key to unlocking the true meaning of this entire chapter. Let us examine the historical and cultural background. Now, what's really fascinating here is the dual nature of Israel's lampstand. It was both stunning art and profound theology all rolled into one. Crafted from hammered gold with branches resembling almond blossoms, it possessed a rich, symbolic purpose. It actually echoed the tree-lined Garden of Eden, representing the promise of life before God. It signified that the God who rescued them from Egypt wasn't just hidden away in darkness, but actively chose to dwell right there among them. Yet at the same time, it served a highly practical purpose. Think about it. In a windowless desert tent, without skylights or natural sun, this oil-fed light was an absolute safety necessity. It was literally the difference between reverence and risk, ensuring the priests could safely navigate the holy place.
Let us examine the biblical narrative.
Looking directly at the text, the Lord speaks first to the lampstand. Notice this specific command in verse 2, reading from the New International Version. All 7 light up the area in front of the lampstand. Moses and Aaron were commanded to direct the light forward, right onto the space of priestly ministry. And they obeyed. The light wasn't meant to just illuminate the walls or even just show off the lampstand itself. No, it was directed at the work. This brilliantly illustrates a key point. Beautiful worship in God's house is not improvised. It's derivative, it's disciplined, and it has a clear center. Light has a shape because true worship always has a focus. So let's move to the next vital phase and see how this builds. Attention shifts from the lamps to the Levites themselves. In verses 5 through 12, we're given a solemn, multi-stage, public purification rite. Walking through it chronologically, Moses is instructed to separate the Levites and make them clean. Step 1, sprinkle them with a water of cleansing. Step 2, they shave their whole bodies. Step 3, they wash their clothes. In step 4, they present a young bull with its grain offering and a second bull for a sin offering. The entire nation actually gathers and lays hands on the Levites, presenting them as a wave offering. It's a gift the nation gives to God, for the nation's own good. Atonement sets them apart, not just by some physical ritual, but by incredible cleansing grace. The narrative then closes by setting some highly practical bounds on this holy service. Verses 24 through 26 establish a beautifully humane calendar for the Levites. At age 25, men enter into an apprenticeship phase, learning the work of the tent of meeting. By age 30, as we see back in Numbers 4, they take on the really heavy carrying and full service. Then at age 50, they retire from that regular heavy load, transitioning into roles where they simply assist their brothers. This is amazing because it preserved strength across generations. It shows us that mercy frames discipline. The Lord flat out refuses burnout as a badge of holiness. He knows our frame, and he truly cares for his servants. Let us examine the theological significance. Let's extract the systematic theology from this text because it is incredibly rich. First off, we see soteriology, which is the doctrine of salvation, and hamartiology, the study of sin, clearly displayed here. The strict necessity of those sin offerings and the water of cleansing declare that even the appointed servants of the sanctuary are impacted by sin and absolutely require atonement to approach a holy God. Furthermore, we see magnificent Christology through historical and dual prophetic fulfillments. The Levites, who stood in place of the firstborn of Israel, well, they train our eyes for a greater substitute, Jesus Christ. As Hebrews 9 tells us, he stood in the place of many to bring us near to God. And that lampstand? That points directly to the one who declared in John 8, I am the light of the world. So bringing it back to a crucial point, maintaining our theological boundaries, we must meticulously compare and contrast national Israel with the church. In Numbers 8, we're dealing specifically with national Israel, the physical tabernacle and the physical tribe of Levi, operating strictly under the dispensation of law. This is distinctly different from the church, which operates in our present dispensation of grace and is being built into a spiritual house by the Holy Spirit. Now, while we draw immense wisdom and see the very character of the same God in both, we must not pit them against each other, nor should we confuse their distinct identities and historical appointments. Let us examine the spiritual lessons and application. So, how do we translate these ancient rites into enduring spiritual principles for our lives today? First, just as the lamps were aimed at the area of service, we need to direct God's light, his word, onto the real, everyday tasks of love, justice, and witness, rather than just spotlighting personalities. Second, public commissioning builds trust. Remember how the Levites were consecrated before the whole assembly? Transparent leadership, where nothing is hidden and roles are crystal clear, that fosters a genuinely healthy community. And finally, we must set healthy limits to honor God. That retirement age of 50 for heavy labor is a huge reminder for us to plan for Sabbath rhythms, succession, and apprenticeship. Finishing well is just as important as serving well, wouldn't you agree? Let us examine the conclusion. We finally arrive at the profound weight of God's protective grace, which is summarized perfectly in Numbers 8, verse 19. Reading from the New International Version. From among all the Israelites, I have given the Levites as gifts to Aaron and his sons, to do the work at the tent of meeting on behalf of the Israelites, and to make atonement for them, so that no plague will strike the Israelites when they go near the sanctuary. You see, God's appointed servants and God's provided light were given out of pure love, simply to keep the community safe and near the Holy One. May the Lord bless you, keep you, and make his face shine upon you as you walk in his light and serve in his grace, until that glorious day when no lamp is needed at all and his face is our everlasting dawn. As we close today, I want to leave you with this one thought. If God went to such incredible lengths to properly position the light in a temporary desert tent, how much more does he care about how his light shines through your life right now? For more in-depth studies, visit the Grace and Knowledge series blog at woodybrahman.online.